Bad. Okay, we did
Okay,
it.
we did it.
Hello. We're 5 minutes late, everyone.
We tried our best. We made it
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Hello, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy December. Happy holidays because it's holiday month.
Exactly. Happy holidays. Happy ending of 2021. Let's do this and get out of this sucky year.
Yeah, it's been a tough one.
A really tough one. A really tough one. This has been one of the hardest years of my life. And it started with January 6th with the insurrection, with this feeling of out of control. I have no control over this situation. There's people, forcing themselves into the White House, and it was scary. It
Oh,
was really
right.
scary and unsettling. And we never really got to talk about that because of all of the election in the US with the fraud and the anger and the divisiveness. So this year has just really pulled the collective apart. It really has. This has been the year for me as the final division, right? The final nail in the division of of the US. So I'm anxious to get out of this year. I really am. I'm anxious to get into new energy and into 2022. And December, I feel like you're right when we go through these cycles a couple of months ahead of time.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
So November, it
yeah.
started shifting out for me as far as that fear, that underlying fear of something horribly wrong here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So here we are in
So
December.
here we
I'm
are
trying to
in
shift it out.
December. Yeah.
Yes.
So today I'm just going to quickly share with the group because we're just starting out. So Julie and I like to chit chat at the beginning while people come on board. Again, we apologize for being late.
Yes.
Um, Julie and I were just doing a little visit and we needed to clear some stuff out first before. So that's our own fault. It had nothing to do with Facebook or StreamYard.
No.
So we welcome everyone. We also encourage you if you wanted to ask a question, if you have something you want to share or say, please do in the chat room. And today's topic is the energy forecast for December for the collective. So that means for everyone that lives on this planet, whether they're all listening or not. So we do that according to the numerology, the tarot, the spirit animal, and then whatever we pick up psychically, intuitively. And so if there's anyone that's here, like, thinking like, what's happening for me, that's not today's show topic, right? So,
Right. But it is, because what happens to the collective happens to, we're all
yeah,
feeling the underlying
that's
similarities.
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's a lot of pauses, and it's like that's the 9 energy. So today, this month, December is a 9 month. And if people like to do math, they're going to be like, no, it isn't. Because if you're using 2021 plus 12, it doesn't add up to 9, it adds up to 8.
Yeah.
But my system, the way I do the cycles, I feel the cycles start 2 months prior. So even though our calendar shows 2021, I'm using 2022. So I
Yes.
added 2022 to the 12th month, and that's how I got the 9 energy. So the 2022 energy, it's the energy started in November. That's what I believe and I feel. And that's what I'm going by. So it's a 9 month. Julie's
Yes.
probably picked out tarot cards. Yeah. And we're going to talk about the spirit animal too, because that was an interesting
Very.
way it showed for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Hello to my mom, Doreen. She's here. You're not late,
Yes.
Mom. We got a
No.
late start. And Marcel and Nikki and Jessica. There's our Jessica. So how
Yeah.
are you guys
Hello.
doing? Happy
Oh,
Monday.
yeah. And we just got another one that joined in. So it's
Nice.
nice. Yeah. Joanne, hello. Welcome, everyone. It's great to
Yes.
have
Hi,
you
Joanne.
here. All right, so where should we start?
Right? What a intro we had. I know we're
I
feeling a
know.
little scattered. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. I'm feeling very emotional. I don't know about,
You are. Yeah.
the others out there, because so it'll be an emotional month. It's very uh I want to say like things run deeply and it's easy to get kind of reflective, and that's where and the emotions can come up. So it could be like at times feel bittersweet or can feel sad. Things can feel daunting. It's yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're getting that too, I want to say it's like it's normal, and it's like,
Mhm.
and for some people this time of year is not always happy times either.
Right.
So
Yeah.
give yourself the grace of just getting through sometimes just day by day.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. For sure. Sometimes that's all you can do is take it one day at a time,
yeah,
one moment at a time, sometimes, and that's all you can do.
yeah, yeah,
It's the best. So,
yeah. So are we gonna what are we gonna start with? I don't
so
know.
let's start with December's energies being what we're exactly talking about. It's I think there's a lot of expectations built
Mm,
into the holidays. No
yeah,
matter what holiday you're celebrating, and it's the end of the year too, so we get a little bit melancholy of what we've been through for this year. It's kind of a
yeah,
reflection month, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. Yeah, it is.
So I think that's
Yeah,
what you're
and it's
picking up on. Yeah,
yeah, and it's interesting because it's like the end of 2021, but it's also numerology endings, the number nine.
that's right.
So
Yeah,
some of the messages that came through, like the themes, because so I focus on like the main themes that I pick up on because there's so many things that can be said, but it's like, okay, what are the major points that I
yeah,
received? So endings, things coming to a close.
yeah,
Um, so I feel like it's not only our own doing, but maybe connected to those around us as well. Um, I mean, sometimes the endings and coming to a close can be good, like can be positive, especially if you want to end things that have been painful or a struggle, like, just done with. Like you could be like, I'm done with feeling sad, or I'm done with struggling, or I'm done with, fighting with this person. So, and I feel like the coming to a close is like not always by our own doing. Like I feel like that can be help, whether, that's with a trusted friend, family member, or it could be like the universe. Like maybe there's an angel or divine intervention. You can't explain it. That's like brought something to a close for you. And that could be bittersweet though. I mean, sometimes the endings are not to our liking or what we want to end, but there's an advantage to it. We don't always see it in that moment or see it at that time. So again, I keep like just be graceful with it all.
yeah.
Be gentle about it. Allow the surrender, like just, and if you feel like crying about it, then you cry about it. If you feel angry about it, get angry. Just find safe ways to release. And that's part of all of this too. Another major is releasing. So releasing what, the emotions in a safe way if you can.
Right.
Environment. Yeah.
It's not always easy, right? There's rarely a
No.
safe place where you can just. That's why I love my
Yeah.
car so much. I get in
Yeah.
my car and I scream and I cry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and
Oh, hi,
Eleanor.
Eleanor. Yes, and Christina and Stacy. Yeah. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
hard year. It really, really was. And I'm so sorry you had to watch your sister-in-law go through pain like that. It's been like that for a lot of people we've been witnessing. I've been doing that with my dad with cancer and
Mm,
all the conversations around that and all of the heartbreaks that go along with losing someone like that. So
yeah.
someone you're very close to. So you're feeling that energy too as well, Eleanor. You're picking up on energies around you and that sadness and grief. And I think the collective is feeling that kind of grief right now and
Yeah.
everything we've lost. A lot of the loss has been our innocence, and
Yeah.
what we
Yeah.
used to
It is.
believe, right? The
Yeah.
magic seems to
Exactly.
have, right? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's painful too. It's like, you know, um, the world that we've known or come to love or come to be comfortable with has ended,
yeah,
really.
it has.
And I just get emotional saying all that. And it's like, we got to release that now, because
Yeah,
it's like there's just no going back. That's not going to be recaptured. We can't bring it back, despite those saying, once we do all this, we'll have this again. It's like, no, no, we won't. No, we
right.
won't. Because it's
Yeah,
just, and it's not because that's never going to happen again. They're not going to bring those activities or those kind of celebrations. It's just that energy of it will not be the same. Like, how many people are hesitant to hug or to get close to one another, right? Because of
yeah,
what we've
right,
all been through.
right.
And
And saying
so,
goodbye
I
to
mean,
that. Yeah,
yeah, so I think, the releasing, maybe this is a time for, as a collective, what? Let's release all this crap.
yeah,
No, no, just like, who cares what everyone believes or feels, your opinions? It's just like, let's release all this sadness.
yeah,
Let's release, the angst, the pain, the struggle. It's just, on an energetic level, I feel like that could be something
yeah.
advantageous, because, um,
For sure, for sure. Just release the disappointment,
yeah,
because I think we all have just had these crushing, disappointing moments. I want to live in a
yeah,
world again where my dad doesn't have pancreatic cancer. I want to
yeah,
return to that world. And you
yeah,
can't. And so there's just this conflict. And we've really strayed away from conflict resolution. We're always walking
yeah,
away for our higher good, and walking away from people that aren't serving us. There's these big push to walk away from everything that's not serving you. And it's a good lesson, but we're not learning how to resolve things either.
no,
We're
we're
not
not.
learning how to have conversations where there's a resolution there.
Yeah,
And I get fearful of just walking away. I do, because everybody deserves to have resolution, some resolve in these relationships too. And we're not getting that. And that's the world I miss too, where we knew how to do this conflict resolution a little better.
right,
you
right,
know
yeah,
but you
yeah,
hear so much of the narcissist empath story, and I
yeah,
think everybody feels in each of those roles at separate times. I don't think it's just so black and white that these people are narcissists and these people are empaths. I think we
yeah,
energy shifts in and out of people and situations and conditions. There's experiences that cause us to become the narcissist in our own life, and there's reason for that. So it's not always a bad thing to be a narcissist in that situation where you're really trying to stand up for yourself and really trying to fight your fight and your battles. And there's a time for that, for sure. And there's a time to be the empath and just feel what other people are feeling instead of just your own self-awareness. So
yeah.
I really don't think it's that black and white. Do you? I don't think it is that
No, no.
person's
And
bad, that
and I love
person's
how you
good.
make that point, because sometimes I wonder, I mean, I keep this, these thoughts to myself a lot of times, but I really get upset when people start, like, oh, they go and look up things like, is this person toxic, or is this person a narcissist, or is
Yes.
this person a martyr or victim, like whatever, like all these labels. And then they
Yeah.
they go on the computer and they answer all these questions, or they tick off the list, and I'm like,
Yeah.
when is everyone starting, why is everyone self-diagnosing or diagnosing each
Yeah.
other?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
how does that help? And it's like,
Yeah.
and then there's people who say, well, you're a reflection of, the person in front of you is a reflection of you. So that also is another thought I'm thinking. So if you are saying, like, so and so is a narcissist in my life, is that a reflection of you? And that person is probably gonna say, like, no, no, because I'm not a narcissist.
Yeah.
But
Right.
so it's like, there seems to be, like, you know all these labels, but then there's these rules, and then there's an exception to the rules, and it's like, I'm just done with all that.
Yeah.
I,
Right.
I, I find it's exhausting, and it's like, what does that how does that help
How does it
anyone?
help? Yeah. These
And
diagnoses,
it's
right?
like, and then sometimes I think, well, am I like what you said, like sometimes I think, like, when I look at the list, am I, yeah, I've got a few of these things, then am I a narcissist, or am I, like,
Yeah.
um a toxic person or whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And I had one friend, she said, everyone's toxic.
Right. Yeah.
It's just sometimes it
Depending
shows
when
up.
you catch them.
Yeah, and she says sometimes it shows up stronger than other times because it depends what they're feeling or going through in life.
Right. Yeah.
And
Everyone has a
and I think
story.
sometimes it's like, we're human, and it's like, I think with these labels, it's like there's
Hmm.
this pressure to be maybe someone or something that we can't achieve or be, right?
Yes.
It's almost like
Yeah.
we're supposed to be all angelic or be angel like, and it's like
Yeah.
that's hard to live up to day to day, right? Because it's like,
Oh, yeah.
can I have my breakdown day, or can't I
Yeah.
complain about this or that without being labeled something,
A victim.
or
Right.
judged
Yeah.
for, yeah, or being judged. It's
Yeah.
just, so I can get this out and then
Yeah.
hopefully move on. And like sometimes that's how we need to receive help, or how we can connect, because it's like, you know, I think a lot of people are suffering in silence
For sure.
because there's a lot of shame and guilt. Like, I can't say this because I'm going to be labeled, or I might be considered, this or that. I don't know.
Right.
You see what I mean? Like,
I
yeah,
do. It's
yeah. I don't know if that makes
expectations
sense.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that goes down to expectations again, and what you're expected to do or not do, right? And so there's a lot of pressure in that for
yeah,
sure. And my mom is saying too, there's so many wonderful people in the world that we just hear the bad. That's so true.
yeah,
All any kind of news, what you're watching, you're going to hear the bad, and so that's
yeah,
just really escalated. We do need more good stories. We do need
yeah.
more
We do.
heroic stories, more superheroes in the world that are fighting for good, instead of the
Yeah,
villains.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and I really appreciate, hearing someone who says, like, I struggled with this. And especially if, or they say, I still struggle with this, because you know what? It makes me feel like they're relatable, or
Mhm.
like they can understand a part of me, because it's like, I struggle with that too, but I'm shy or nervous about, speaking my
Yeah,
truth sometimes, right? Yeah,
for
and
sure.
that's the other thing, like the truth. It's like truth is subjective, right? So it's
Right.
like if I'm sharing a truth of mine, doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah,
It's
right.
just
It's
my
my
it's
truth.
just my
Yeah,
it's my truth, right?
that's right.
Whereas, and then it's like, okay, but am I being honest? Like, there's a difference, honesty and truth, right? So like honesty is like, I feel like, about revealing your feelings, revealing a part of yourself, whereas truth is like, it could be changeable.
Yeah, it's very
It
subjective.
doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's right, subjective, right?
yeah.
So anyway,
Very.
see, we just released a bunch of stuff.
There you go.
So that's a good example of that theme.
Right?
So we're releasing.
Releasing is a great sometimes too, yeah, just release that truth too, because you're holding on to that truth so tightly that if anyone conflicts with it, you're like, yeah, but this is my truth, this is my truth, and that's true. But sometimes it is okay to release that, because you're learning and you're expanding and you're growing. We all are, as a collective, through all of this stuff. There are lessons here. There really, really are. And
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest lessons, I think, for some reason it keeps popping in my head this morning, is that conflict resolution.
Mm,
We hear again, it's like, walk away, don't listen to that. Don't get involved in that. Don't. And we've been hearing that a lot because of all the conflict. You
yeah.
have to shut it down too. But it bleeds into our personal lives, and it bleeds into our skills as human beings to be able to connect with each other. And so without that connection, we're already socially distant physically. So if we start really disconnecting from the conversations themselves, then we're in real trouble. Now we're in isolation. We're not just,
Yeah.
right. And so
Yeah.
you're just there with your own thoughts, your own truths, your own laurels and morals and ethics, and judging everyone around you, but you're all alone too. It's a lonely
Yeah.
path to be so righteous.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. And I think, yeah, and there's a lot of people on, trying to be that way,
Yes.
right?
And And my mom is making such a good point too about hearing the good. My mom's neighbors, from my dad being having cancer, they have done so much. They walk their dog every day. They're taking their
Oh,
garbage out. You know, there are true angels on this earth that don't get noticed because you're not hearing these good
yeah,
stories. You're not hearing the love and compassion. That you're just hearing how they've been wronged, you know?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
do think we need more of these
Yeah, we
stories of the
do.
good.
Yeah, that needs to be recognized more. And that's a good point because we even get down on ourselves about
Mhm.
like we don't do enough or we're not being
Exactly.
enough.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
I think that could be part of the releasing too, like and the discouragement and the bittersweetness we might feel because it's like, what did I get done this past year? And
Right. What have I
and we're looking at
accomplished?
but we're looking at the big things. It's like,
Yeah.
and that's how our society has been. Like you're nobody unless you have a name for yourself or you're this big on this social media platform or
Yeah.
all these things. And
Yeah.
it's like, but what what are they truly accomplishing or what how are they truly touching the collective with their story or with because some of it's not, I think, all meaningful. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know what you
I'm not
mean.
trying.
Yeah.
So it's like the little things that we don't seem to recognize enough in ourselves and those around us, right? Like
Right.
sometimes I'm trying to think like oh, so one of my friends the other day, he knows my favorite chocolates and they've been
Hmm.
hard to come by, like they've been hard to find, and then he showed up out of the blue and he presented a box. He bought me a box of these because he saw them in the
Nice.
store and I was like that meant so much to me.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
such a little thing
Little
and I'll never
gestures.
forget
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I'll never forget that. So anyways.
Absolutely. Yes. That's
Mm,
what matters. Friends, family. Absolutely, Eleanor. That's supportive friends, supportive family, people that want to see you be your best. And
yeah,
um,
yeah.
that's what's important.
And I'm
That's
going to
for sure.
add, sometimes our friends are like our family
Mm,
or bigger than our family,
yeah,
right?
for
So,
sure.
because I know some people struggle with family this time of year, and
Yeah.
if you're one of those, if you have to release that, release that. If it's
Yes.
not going well, then release that and see, like, is there a friend or someone in your circle that could be like your family? Yeah.
Sure. Family means so many
We're
things now.
family here.
Yeah.
I
Yes, we
find
are.
this our group here. Yeah, you guys are our family. This is a
Yes,
family.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Couldn't do it
Okay.
without any of you.
Yeah. So there's releasing, endings, coming to a close.
Yes.
That all ties in together.
Hmm.
Um, okay, let's talk about. I heard this phrase, to hell and back.
Yeah, I liked it.
So did I, because at first I was kind of nervous about putting it in because it's like, ooh, that might
Yeah.
sound religious or that might sound like scary to some people.
Right.
What do you
I
feel when you read
I
that?
feel like it's very spot on. I feel like I've been through something. I feel like I've been to hell and back, and having to deal with so many different, I don't know, disappointments. Again, it comes down to disappointments, where I
Yeah.
thought what the collective was going, where I thought humanity was going, where I thought I was going personally, with these treks that you saw the Eight of Cups in the tarot card
Yeah, I
for
did.
December. That just made so much sense to me because in the Eight of Cups, I got to show the original Eight of Cups. So we built these cups, we filled these cups with treasures and emotions and feelings and where we thought we were going. We just kept flowing into the same cups. These eight cups. There's only seven showing in these cups, but um, but this person is walking away from all that they have filled. That those cups became disappointing to this person and they simply had to walk away and leave it all there. In my light seers tarot deck, there's the
Mm.
sun that she's walking towards and she's burning it literally all the way. She's emptied her
Oh,
cups into the ocean and she started that fire in that cups. Now she's got a fire going. She's fed up. She's done. She can't keep filling those cups. They're not fulfilling her any longer. And you mentioned something in the forecast where things that used to uplift us and make us feel better just somehow aren't working or not resonating with the same things that we used to resonate with.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of this energy as we're walking away. And in the original, this is a little bigger picture. There's mountains in those backgrounds. That's rough terrain that this person is willing to go through because that's just not fulfilling anymore. And so that's part of that, just releasing, just release what we thought was going to be. And to me, it comes down to acceptance, acceptance of what is, acceptance that my father does have pancreatic cancer, acceptance of that. We go through all these stages in grief naturally as humans. And one of those stages is denial and bargaining, and so, and I went through those stages myself with denial. Maybe in my head, it wasn't happening, or it wasn't as bad as they were saying, or, and then I started bargaining. I started praying and bargaining with the angels. Please don't let this be real right now. I just
Yeah.
seems like this whole year was surreal to me. And then you just kind of come into an acceptance of that. And then it's like, well, what can I do? What can I do here? What can I contribute to uplift this family who's hurting so badly? And so it was traumatic for us to hear this news.
Mm-hmm.
And all I could do was keep hoping that some kind of miracle was around the bend here. My dad's got scans Friday. We're getting the results tomorrow. And these scans have really proved that my continued focus on his health helps everybody focus on his health rather than his sickness. And that's really maybe what we need to do as a collective, is focus on where we're going into a better place, into the healthiness of humans, into a healthy relationship, instead of just walking away. I know it sometimes you have to do that. You have to.
Yeah.
But maybe that comes into the acceptance, and then maybe some resolution, because there's really no closure in this card with those cups that she has filled, that he has filled. There's no closure there. They're just leaving it. And that's wonderful to do in our lives, but we do have to look back and get the lessons from those cups. And we can't ignore that. There are lessons here. There are valuable lessons here in love and understanding and compassion and humanity. So when we're feeling that humanity slipping away, as I have felt these last maybe decade, you feel this humanity kind of slipping away, and greed kind of merging into the humanitarianism of all of it and overtaking all of that. And like you were saying, how many followers do you have? It's all based on so these people that have these thousands and thousands of followers are finding themselves, I feel like, catering to those followers. They don't want to lose those followers, so they start changing their voice a little bit, and they start catering to what their followers are asking them to do, right? Instead of staying true to the message that they started out with, because now it's more important to have followers than it is to get the message out. So there's that conflict, there's that uh, disappointment, because you're just not going down that same path now. Now you've veered off, right? Now
Yeah.
you've veered off of your own path. And so you're feeling this disconcernment, this unsettledness, this, disconnect. Disconnect is what it's causing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it could be too, like with the cups and like all that analogy is what has we feel like, not only what we filled our own cups with, right?
Right.
But those around us. And it's like,
Right.
and then that comes down to truth. It's like, well, that doesn't align with me, or I that's not me anymore.
Right.
So I'm ready to
Exactly.
walk
Yeah.
away. It's like, and whether those cups are empty, full, whatever, it's almost like, I'm done. I'm releasing all that. I
Yes.
feel like the Eight of Cups has to do with releasing,
Releasing. It
right?
is. It's
Right. And
exactly
it's
what it
like,
is.
how
Yeah.
many people, you know, feel like just walking away from it all. But then it's like, out into what? What am I
Exactly.
walking towards to? What am I going to do?
Right.
Where
It's
am
a
I
big
going to
question.
go? Yeah. And I feel like, there's a lot of people in that in that energy right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel it for myself too.
Me
Like
too.
I'm like wondering, okay, what do I want to, like, I want to leave it all behind and just like, okay, I'm ready to step out. I'm done because I like that life or like that world doesn't align with me, or it's too hard to keep up with, like keeping up. Like I can't keep up with it anymore.
Yeah.
It's too exhausting. It's too much. I want to
Yeah.
release it all. So I think, that all plays in with the cups and to hell and back. It's like, how many of us have felt, and it's not just the physical experience. I think a lot of it is like the emotional and mental.
For sure.
Like, how many of us mentally have felt like, I've been to hell, or, emotionally I've been to hell,
Yeah. A
right?
lot. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's been very, very difficult. Yeah.
And I think it's like the nine energy is about wisdom. So it's like, as tough of all of these experiences are, all these lessons, it's to teach us to become wiser.
Oh, yes. For sure. There's
And
wisdom
to
in that.
be more, I think, how do I want to say it? Maybe not contemplative, but almost like, okay, I'm not going to just always jump to conclusions now, or I'm going to take the high road with this, or like, it's like all these wisdom things. So I'm hoping, if you are struggling, if you feel like you're in hell right now, there is a light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yes. It will
Yeah,
always shift out. It will always change. Change
yeah.
is the only constant. So hang
And
in
I
there.
mean, try to,
Yeah.
yeah, and hopefully, like, there's someone in your circle or someone you can reach out to that um, will help you in some
Yes.
way, help you get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope what we're sharing, I mean, we're not doing one-on-ones, but I hope what we're sharing, generally is going to help you right now, maybe give you
Yeah.
that boost or that um, confidence. Okay, just
Yes.
take a breath. I'm not
Yes.
alone. I'm not alone feeling
Yeah.
this, or I'm not alone going through all this,
Yeah.
roughness, discouragement, despair.
Right. And
Yeah.
sometimes too, we find ourselves in situations where we can't just walk away. You can't, if
Yeah.
from your job or your relationship or
Yeah.
whatever the case may
It's
be,
not easy. Yeah.
it's just not easy to walk away. It
Yeah.
sounds easy. Just walk away. Just cut that out of your life, but
Yeah.
it's not always easy. But what you
No.
can do is I went through a really hard time a couple of years ago where I was in a situation where I couldn't walk away from. I had to continue on what I was doing.
Mm.
But I started finding myself cutting the bonds anyway. I started finding myself energetically pulling into myself and protecting myself, and so there is a way to sever bonds without walking away too. Sometimes that's what's needed too. So I just want to tell
Mm-hmm.
people that sometimes you can't walk away from
Yeah.
hard things. You have to
Yeah.
face them head on, and you have to be
Yeah.
that bull in your own life and just face it head on, whatever that means to you. So just know you're not alone in that.
Mm.
Everyone's saying, well, just walk away. Just don't even engage in that.
Yeah.
Just don't. But sometimes you can't. It's just
Yeah.
not for you.
Yes.
What you're meant to do is face it head on and take control of who you're expending your energy to and your time too. You spend a lot of time filling these cups up. Well, these are usually people around you that you're filling up because they're coming to you for need, for help. They need someone, and you're there for them. And so you start filling up these cups around you because it makes you feel like, well, when I'm down, they'll be there for me. When I'm going through what they're going through, then they'll be there for me. And sometimes life
Yeah.
circumstances just don't allow that for them to be
Yeah.
there for you. And that's really, really hurtful at the
Yeah.
in the moment. So you have to face it head on yourself. And that's
Yeah.
really not easy.
No.
But you can do it. You can take control of your own life, and you can take control of these situations that physically you can't walk away from, but you can change yourself. You can't change anyone around you.
Mm-hmm.
They are who they are, and you've done what you've done. You have expended this help and this energy, and that's there. You can't take that back, but what you can do is start filling up your own cup. You can start filling up your own emotional wellness, and you can start filling your own cup with your own praise and your own words of
Yeah.
wisdom that you expend to others. And
Yeah.
don't forget to do that. Don't
Yeah.
forget that.
And I want to say when, that you make a valid point because, that's part of the nine energy too, is like, we have to do some things on our own or light our own light.
Right.
And
Right.
especially if we're seeking wisdom or guidance from someone else, that wisdom guidance is supposed to be the person that just lights, like, I'm over here.
Yeah.
You come to me. I'm
Yeah.
not going to go to you and help you come to me. Like you
That's
have to
right.
make your way. So making your way to that light, sometimes there will always be certain parts or steps you have to do on your own, unfortunately.
Hmm.
That's part of the path, the journey of the nine. And for those who are finding, like, because it's a repetitive, like the nine energy likes to repeat or keep circling back, things keep coming. So if you're finding like, why do I keep feeling this way, or why do I keep getting this kind of reminder or experience, stop and say, and this is where you have to say to yourself, okay, what do I have to heal here? Like
Right.
what do I have to release or become wiser for, so that it's not repeating anymore? So I'm not
Yeah.
thinking the same thing over and over again, or I'm not having the same experience over and over again. That's, so that could be to the hell and back to feeling. It's like, oh my God, this is a
Yeah.
hellish experience or hellish feeling. And
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, um, what can you do to release that,
Yeah.
and have it come to a close? And it's going to be different for everyone.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
it comes down to, I love how Joanna is resonating with all of this. Thank you
Mm,
so much for saying that, Joanna.
mm-hmm.
I'm so
Yeah,
glad you
we
are
see you.
feeling
Hugs,
this. Yeah,
hugs, hugs.
definitely. We see
Mm-hmm.
you. Sometimes I think a lot of this comes down to forgiveness too. I think
Mm-hmm.
we really need to work on our
Yeah.
forgiveness and know that everyone is at fault here,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Even ourselves.
Yes.
So if we can forgive ourselves for what we did in the moment that we needed to do in that moment, right? To
Yes.
soothe ourselves in that moment. Just forgive yourself. You did your best. Didn't you do
Yeah.
your best through that situation?
Yeah.
And
And that's
and
how, yeah. And
right,
that's how you become wiser, because it's like you
right.
recognize, and it's not about placing blame or
No.
what I,
You don't.
it's just, but it's just
Right.
recognizing, okay, this is all right. Like just like kind of being like that way, okay, all
Okay.
right. Like, just recognizing and kind of be detached about it, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, all right. Now I know. Or like
Now
now
I
I'm
know.
going to be better, right?
That's
And
right.
yeah, and the forgiveness and letting go, releasing of it. That
Yes.
could tie in with like the excuse me
Yeah.
message.
Exactly.
It's a
Yeah.
different way of saying forgiveness. It could be
Yeah.
like, because a lot of people, I think, forgiveness is such a tough and can feel heavy for some
Yeah.
people,
It's a trigger word. Yeah,
right?
it
Yeah, it
is.
is. Yeah, yeah.
It is.
Especially when you apply it to a situation or another person,
Yes, for
right? So
sure.
it's maybe saying excuse me, or
Yeah.
like excuse my behavior,
Yeah.
I excuse what you said, or I excuse, the situation. That kind of feels easier, doesn't it? I don't know.
It
Those
does.
who are
Yeah.
listening, let us know. What do you
And
feel?
forgiveness doesn't mean you're condoning anyone's
Mm,
behavior at all. Like you
yeah,
can forgive someone and never speak to them the rest of your life, really.
that's right.
But
Yep.
why do you want to carry what they've done to
Hmm.
you or others with you within
Yeah,
your energy field? Why don't carry that with
yeah.
you? Just forgive. Just forgive it. It's their experience to have. We don't always get
Hmm.
to see karma at work,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but it's there, it's in play. It's just not always, you're not always the teacher of that person.
Mm,
So it's okay to forgive them, and really that's just a release of them
yeah.
too. It's just cutting that bond.
Yeah. So if you struggle with the forgiveness, I
Yeah.
think we all do, at time to
Yeah,
time,
we do.
then
Right.
use excuse me.
I love that.
right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's like, yeah, excuse me or excuse the person. And you don't have to say that to them. It could just be, where you sit down on your own. The Ho'oponopono
I was
prayer is
thinking
a good
about
one,
this.
is a
Yes, I
good
can't
one.
believe you said it. Yes. What
So
is
I don't
it?
know if
It's I'm
anyone,
sorry, please forgive me, I love you, right? Is that what you're
um,
thinking of?
yeah, I thought there was four things.
I think
I
there
have it.
is.
I have the card, and I'm trying to think where I keep it. I would have to step out of camera to go get it,
Yeah.
but
I'm
um,
sorry, please forgive me, I didn't mean it, I love you, or something like that. There's four of them. There's four chants in there, but it's a
so
beautiful mantra.
yeah, so I want to say, and there's a certain order. So I think it's like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and then there's one more.
There's one more. Who
And it's
knows
like
it?
I don't have my phone. Yeah, because if I go look it up, I'm gonna be off camera. So
No, I know, me too.
um,
That's okay. It'll
yeah, so if
someone will
someone
know
in the
it.
audience, we're gonna shout it out there. If anyone in the audience can look it up and
Mom.
put it,
She
Eleanor,
knows it. No,
Joanna.
she does.
And I'm just going to quickly interject our conversation. So, Mishti, thank you for being here and watching, and thanks for your question. I did reply in the chat box, but this is not a personal reading show. You'll have to come back another time when we have that show topic. Today's show is about the forecast for the collective. So we're sharing messages for everybody. It's what we picked up on through numerology, the tarot, and the spirit animal. So come back again when we have our free reading show, but it's not today. All right. Yeah.
Now, this is
Oh,
saying,
you're
I
looking
love
it up?
you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
Okay.
what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
that. I've
Yeah,
been
so
listening to that for
that's a good
years.
thing.
Yeah.
It's very simple, and I know people say like, it doesn't, how's that going to work? It works because it's an energetic thing. And the more you say it, the more I feel like you do release it. So don't just try it once and it's like, what? It didn't work or
Yeah.
whatever. No, you got to practice it on a consistent basis. So,
Yeah. It's more of a
yeah.
mantra that you
Yeah,
say
it
over and
is.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's an energetic thing. I feel like you will feel lighter,
You will.
especially if you think about yourself in that, or if you think of the person or situation when you're
Yeah.
saying it, you will feel lighter eventually. Okay.
Yeah.
um
I
yeah,
just
go
want to
ahead.
say one thing too, because
Hmm.
2021 was a 5 year too.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, it
if
was.
you look at the Five of Swords energy, there is
Yeah.
a battle here. There is. And he is the last man standing. He's won this battle, but he's all
Mm.
alone. Here's the defeated walking away, right? So
Hmm.
we're both of these. We're both of these. We've battled, we've succeeded, and we've lost, right?
Yeah.
And so it's time to move on to the very next card, which we're going to go into in 2022, is the six number, right? I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a six. Yeah.
And that's moving on from those choppy waters, from those battles. We're protected by spirit with those swords, and there's a guide behind us guiding us out of these choppy waters. So it's not it's not all that
Mm.
preposterous to be thinking I'm sorry, forgive me, because we're both characters. We're all three characters in this card. We really are.
Mm.
We encompass that energy in
Yeah.
its fullness, right?
Yeah.
So just hang on too, because that energy will shift out. It will. That
Yeah.
competitive battle, um, energy, which has been
Yeah.
worldwide. It really has. So
Yeah, exactly.
hang on, hang on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And accept where we're at so that we can
Hmm.
forgive it. Because I don't know if you can forgive if you don't accept.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's tough, like, especially some of
It
the big
is.
things we've been through as a collective this past year, right? A lot of angry
Yes.
energy out there.
A lot of
As
fear,
well, and
right?
fear. Yeah. Yeah.
Fear of this
Yeah.
virus, of these opinions, of these political times. It's not easy
Yeah.
anywhere in the world
And it's
right now.
coming from everyone, and it's
It
like,
is.
and I think that's part of the release too. It's like, you know what? I'm just done. Like, who do I believe? Who's
Yeah.
telling me the truth? La la la. Like, it's just, yeah, it's all too much.
It is. Yeah.
It is. Okay. So that brings up
Yeah.
really, like really, like that. That's how it comes through, like
Yeah.
really. And so sometimes it'll be comical, like someone might say something to you and be like, really?
Really?
What's, yeah,
You
you,
sure
what?
about
Yeah.
that?
So, and I want to say like it's, create some lightness because we're going to need some lightness. It's a heavy energy this month.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, about, okay, are they like telling me the truth? Are they being in their integrity? Do I believe that or not? So, if you're finding you're having like really moments,
Yeah.
maybe it's something you can visit again later. Or it might involve like, I need to think about that, or I need
Yeah.
to sit
Yeah.
with that, right?
Right.
Whatever.
Be the
Yeah.
questioner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Question
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be
Exactly.
your own investigative
Yeah.
reporter, since
Yeah.
that seems to have gone away, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to
Exactly.
listen to anyone else.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm going to put a couple together here. So our rights and freedoms came up in the court system, and they do go hand in hand. Um, so I know this probably varies. This will vary country to country, even though things have been tried to be grouped as a whole, right? There's some with this COVID
Sure.
things that's been tried to
Of
be
course.
grouped up as a whole, but I know it's
Yeah.
varying from country to country. So I think depending where you live, I know where I'm living, there's a push for in our court system to challenge, what's some of these rules and regulations that have been passed. And it's connected to, okay, where's our rights and freedoms though? So that's really flaring up, even though it's been part of our, this past year, it's like really, really showing up. So I feel like this is flaring up right now. I don't know how it is in the US, if it's being
Yes,
challenged.
it is. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I think, so that's one part of it too, but it could also be like, okay, going in a different direction. Maybe the court system is going to be in the news because of other reasons or other factors. I heard a
Yeah.
story about, again, abortion rights are coming up in the States.
It's horrible in the States. Yeah, it really is. That's what
So
they're pushing here. Yeah. And it does
yeah,
give you this sense of, oh my God,
your
my
rights
rights
and
are being
your
stripped from
freedom,
me.
yeah,
Yeah,
freedom to be a female or be a woman. It's like,
that's
yeah,
right. Here comes that great old female oppression right back into the limelight.
yeah,
Of women are too stupid to make these decisions on their own.
right, right. As if they
Right?
don't know their body or know what's best for
Exactly.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't listen
Because
to a
yeah,
silly woman. Yeah.
right, right. Because
That's how I feel.
I'm
Yeah.
the one that's going to have to live with the baby or raise this baby on my own
Yeah. Right.
for how many years, whereas like, where are you guys going to be?
Yeah.
Because you wanted me to have this baby and I didn't want to. I mean, it's
A-
it should be a personal decision, but anyways, that's another
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. But in the US,
story.
it is in the
Yeah,
spotlight, and it is
yeah,
triggering for me. I just get so
yeah,
angry when I hear, and our judges I don't know, when you lose the law of the land, you lose everything. And so it's just scary to me that we're manipulating laws for human rights. And it's
yeah,
frightening
there
to
you
me.
go. And that could
Yeah.
be like, you hit the point there. That's a big thing, like with that message too. I feel I didn't articulate it, but yeah, it's like the court system is influencing our rights and freedoms on a
That's
big
right.
level, I feel, this month.
Yeah.
And then it could just even like in a metaphor capacity, how many of us have been like judging the behaviors or judging what you do or don't do lately?
Hmm.
So I feel like a lot of us, there's a pressure of being under the microscope and am I doing the right thing? If I don't, I'm judged for not, because I didn't want to do this, or I did this and I'm being judged still. Like there's all this, like, it's like the whole world's a big court room right now,
Yeah, it
maybe.
is.
And
Right.
it's
That's a good
affecting our
point.
personal, like it feels like, okay, well, I can't be free to be me right now because I'm going
Right.
to be judged, by,
Yeah.
and doesn't matter if it's a stranger or a family member, because it's like everyone's got the family members that are, you know,
Of
piping
course.
in, and yeah,
Yeah. It's true.
so
Yeah. So you're feeling
yeah,
so alienated because you said what you felt. So
yeah,
it's kind of odd. Yeah. And then if you
yeah,
have the courts agreeing with them, you're like, well, where are my rights though? It's really
yeah.
scary. It's really unsettling. It really is. And I don't know what the answer is to that. I don't.
I know. I don't know
I find
either.
it
I don't know.
terrifying. Yeah.
It is, yeah, and yeah. So, I guess we just
We
have
have to see.
to do a
Yeah.
wait and see. Yeah, it's almost like it's out of our control,
It
and
is.
that's disheartening. It is.
Maybe
It is.
that's the first thing to do is accept that it is out of our control. It really
Yeah,
is. And
release it.
yeah.
I mean,
And
I don't
and
know.
what is your cause? Because do I want to go join these activists that fight for choice for
Yeah,
abortions? No, I don't want to expend my energy to that cause. You know what I mean? Like that it doesn't
yeah,
mean enough to me to go fight that fight, even
yeah,
though it triggers me and angers me. So I have to imagine most people are like me, where they don't want to, because once that's in your focus, it's in your focus, and you're
yeah,
spending time on it, you're thinking about it. It's taking up time in your
yeah,
mind. And I don't
yeah,
want that's like the gun battle with me.
yeah,
I don't like guns. They take human lives, so I don't
yeah,
understand that.
yeah,
I'm confused of why people would worship things that can take another human life. So
yeah.
I'm confused by that. But do I want to make that my cause? No,
Mm-hmm.
no. What
Yeah,
I want to do is enlighten and elevate. So when you're talking about the gun argument or the abortion argument, it's not really elevating. You're just part of the
yeah,
voices down here,
yeah,
and where
yeah,
everyone is kind of stuck. Well, I don't
yeah,
want to be stuck in that energy. I want to rise above it and let it be and not
yeah.
be a part of that fight.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes too you think like, is it going to be worth it if I join that fight, or if
Right.
like I've
Yeah.
been getting like these petitions to sign, and it's to the point where
Yeah.
it's like, is that does that even make a difference nowadays? Does that even
I
like,
don't know,
do
but
they
I feel you. Yeah.
politicians even, or court system, consider that?
I don't know.
Because I feel
I don't
like,
know.
well, they're just, and they want all this personal information. It's like, well,
Yeah.
how do I know it's not like, so they know all this stuff about, because I don't want them to know. Like, I want to sign it, but it's like I don't want them to know all these other things about me,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
You feel
that
like you're losing
it's
your
like
rights. Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable about that. So,
Yeah. Do I want to
anyways,
be deemed that group? No.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, because it's like I might not align with that group's cause or everything that they say, but I
Right.
agree with, like, okay, this part of the petition or whatever. And
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
so yeah, so you make, yeah, it's a valid point. I guess we just have to do the
There's
best we
nothing
can right now. But yeah,
except hold the
it's,
space. We get to this lighter space and we just hold it for the others. That's all we can do
yeah,
is just hold the space for the
yeah,
rest that will
yeah,
will come and join us above
yeah,
these arguments. Yeah.
yeah. And this is just, and it's disheartening because it's like, we voted for certain, I mean, I know the political system is corrupt in everywhere. It's not
Yeah.
just,
That's a big realization,
yeah, yeah.
right? Yeah.
So it's almost like, but we still are told like they're there for us, or
Hmm.
we have certain leaders that we look up to be our voice, and they've been letting us down.
Right. Disappointment. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
it's like, so what do we actually do? Because it's almost like they just keep doing what they're going to do anyways, right? So it's like, what, and that's the disheartening part. So
Yeah.
anyways, this is kind of sad. Let's change.
Right.
Let's
Let's
talk
move
on
on.
different. Okay. Okay,
We
here's a
do
couple.
have to agree to disagree. See, there's that
Yeah,
conflict resolution. We used to be able to
yeah,
do that, right, Eleanor? We used to be
yeah,
able to say, okay, we'll agree to disagree. And we were still
yeah,
friends.
that's right.
What happened to that?
I know, I know, I know, because it's everyone's trying to prove a point nowadays, or they want to
Yeah,
be they want to be the right one,
that's right.
right?
And how
And
do you
it's
ever
like,
get proven right? You never
yeah,
will because there's always proof to prove you right on either
yeah.
side, on
And
whatever side.
we're supposed to keep evolving, and we can't evolve if we think we're right.
That's right. You
Or
can't.
like
Yeah.
we
Or you have
can't,
nothing to learn.
yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're not going to elevate or move forward if we get stuck in this notion, but I'm right. Got to be like
Yeah.
this.
I'm the
Prove my
smartest person
point.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Really? Okay. Okay, this will feel good. Less is more. Less
Less
is
is
more.
more.
That's
I
I
like
think
that.
that
Yeah.
could connect to like all this talk we just had, these
Yes.
last few points. So it could be like, you know what? We talked about it, we released it.
That's right.
Our, our thoughts. Now less is more. So it's like I don't want to go there anymore. And it could
No.
be like that's being less, right? It's like, yeah, I want to hear less of that, or I don't want to. So it could
Yeah.
be in that term, but it could also be um, what do you need to unload? You know,
Yeah.
so you have less of that, and it's going to end up being more freeing or more liberating or more lighter, that in that sense, right? And
That's
that
right.
could be
Oh, yes.
emotions, thoughts, beliefs, physical things or material things. Like if you've been thinking like, maybe this Christmas I'll tell everyone, let's not just do the gift thing because less is more.
Yeah.
Let's hang out or have a
Yeah.
movie night, or I don't know, like, and that could be like the less thing is like, wow, that end up being like the best Christmas ever. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Less is more for Christmas for sure. Especially when
Yeah.
you're really putting thought into one thing instead of just trying to fill the room with gifts,
Yeah. Yeah.
It means so much
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
to hang out with people, to have pleasant conversations, to end these tumultuous conversations, and just let them
hmm
go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes it's not even worth it sometimes.
No,
Yeah.
no, no one wins there. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes even speaking less is more. There we go.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Geometrics.
That was interesting. I wondered what you
I
meant
know.
by this.
So yeah, because it
Shapes?
came through, yeah, and it's all the shapes, and so I had to look it up because it's like geometrics, is that a
Yeah.
thing? And it's
What is
like it
that?
probably is because my guides are
Yeah,
smart. Okay, I will give
they
them
are.
that. They know things.
Right? Don't question the guides,
That's
Tina.
right. They know. Even though I'm like, really, really,
Yeah.
is that's a
Really?
message? So
There's your really.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so the geometrics, yeah, and they were showing me like the crop circles and the mandala. So it's like when I Googled it, it's like, oh yeah, they're right. So geometrics is actually like a mathematical division or subject or like branch. It is career, and it has to do with like the triangles and and rectangles and sphere, like all these different shapes and the
Yeah.
like degrees and all that. But also too, it refers to like, these crop circles and the mandalas because they're all using these different shapes and forms to create. So I get it's
Interesting.
more about that. Like, I mean, yes, it, I have to consider the literal. So it could be like, okay, are mathematicians going to be talking about crop circles, about mandalas and the power of them, or that they have meaning?
Mm-hmm.
Or, the triangle represents this in our lives, right? It's not so scientific or so mathematical, right? And the
Yeah.
geometrics, like, I don't know, maybe we're going to be aware of the shapes in our homes, or we're drawn to certain patterns and it has a
Yeah.
certain meaning, right?
That's interesting.
Because yeah, so it's like triangles, and it's like I always think of the pyramids,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And like the pyramids have a certain power, or and they
Oh,
have a
yeah.
meaning, and there's, yeah, and then it's like circles, like circle is a big one, right? But it's like, um yeah, so that along those lines is what I want
I
to go. So
like it.
it's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of fun. But so I think I added in there something to the effect of like, maybe this is where they're going to show like it contains like certain wisdoms or things connected to the evolution or elevation of humanity. Like it just
Yeah.
seems like, okay, hmm. It's
I
really
like that.
interesting. And it's like some people, they like, that's kind of a far out concept. But I mean, this is, the 9 is about far out concepts and ideas. It's like not always, you know, born here on our planet. So that's where I
Yeah.
go with that.
I like that. That's
Yeah,
interesting. I think
yeah,
people are looking into more of right?
yeah,
Geometrics and shapes and
yeah.
yeah. And
And
the
like
meaning
hexagram.
behind them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like hexagrams and everything. And it could be like, oh, today someone, because I was in a meeting this morning, so someone had brought up enneagrams. And that's like, that sounds
What's that?
familiar. What is that? So
Oh,
enneagram is like, and they're using these shapes to
yeah.
calculate your personality.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
so, or maybe they don't use the shapes, but anyways, part of calculating your personality is part of this shape process, or like there's a shape symbolizing your personality. So it's like there's these triangles and hexagrams and all these, and I'm like, oh, that's geometrics.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
That makes me think of
anyway,
snowflakes and that
yes,
crystal
totally.
therapy that, when they were speaking
Yes.
to these flakes, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's
And they
another
were
part of it.
changing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So geometrics is huge then, right? We just don't
Oh,
look at
yeah.
it that way. So yeah, I think it
Sure.
all encompasses that. Yeah. Okay.
Interesting. I love that.
Yeah, so be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll talk. You want to talk about the tarot?
Sure. I did already a little bit with
Yeah, a
the Eight
little
of
bit.
Cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if the Eight of
But
Cups came through, but
this
you
is my
add if
favorite
there's anything
card,
more.
right?
Yeah, that's
About
a nice.
walking
Oh,
away.
that's yeah, that looks so much nicer and
Right. I
easier.
really like this one than the original tarot.
Yeah, I
Right.
do too.
This one
Yeah.
is just hopeful because she's walking. See, in the original, there's the moon there. So they're leaving in the dead of night. They're just packing
Yeah.
up and leaving. They don't want it. They want to go unnoticed because it's the dead of night. Where she's got morning blinking here in the distance and she's not afraid of anything or anyone after what she's walked away from. So this
Yeah.
card gives me
Oof.
strength. It gives me
Yeah.
hope that
Yeah.
the
Yeah. I
sun
get
is always
goosebumps.
going to rise, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. And then I guess the snow leopard. He
Yeah.
finally came through us. Boy, that
Beautiful.
spirit. Yeah, I think this is the second time only, but this one was really challenging. It's like,
Yeah.
because I remember talking to you about it, because I said, like, I wasn't sure if it was going to be, was it because at first I thought, is it the mouse?
Um, oh yeah.
And then I thought the owl,
Yeah.
because I said, like, it's hiding, like it's like comes out in the dead of night, but I can't see it clearly.
Yeah. Right. It
And then
just
I
popped
thought,
out.
well, yeah, and then I thought I had written the carousel, but then it was like when I finished writing and I was like, okay, I'm just about to press the button to publish it, and it's like, here comes
Here
the
it
snow
came.
leopard.
Here I am.
Yeah, I'm
As
ready to
they
show
do,
myself. Yeah,
right?
they just, yeah, and that's their personality. It's like they like to move in the quiet, hidden, and
Yeah.
then when they're ready to show themselves, they show themselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very powerful, majestic
Very, very
animal.
majestic,
Yeah,
powerful, spiritual.
yeah.
Um, just a lot of lessons in that for me. I was thinking about that. It reminded me of the moon and coming out at
Mm.
night
And the
and
mountains
really
there.
and the mountains there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because
So
this,
be like that tiger. Yeah. Is it a
yeah.
tiger? Is
You
it a
know what? I
cat?
didn't.
It's a
No,
cat.
it's from the cat family, and it's
Yeah.
from the leopard. Like it's a specific type of leopard because there's so many different kinds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think it's part of the panther family. I think
Oh, that
that's how
makes
they
sense.
classified it. I didn't really look into that part.
I
Sorry.
didn't
Even
either for
no,
some
I just
reason.
yeah, I just looked at the spiritual meaning, and it was like,
Yeah. I like it.
like a lot of it made sense. And um, what was I going to say? Yeah, because it jumped. So I'm going to say there's going to be, so be aware of the jumping. So it could be like sometimes, especially if we're feeling discouraged or dejected, like, nothing's turning out, or there's no movement. And then boom, out of nowhere, something might
Yeah.
jump at you. Like you might get an opportunity, a break, a helping hand, something comes through. So I'm hoping like that's going to be a big part for a lot of us, right?
Hmm.
Like good news, like something good that way. You could also, just be aware of like, don't jump to conclusions.
Hmm.
So maybe, you know, take your time, like, maybe don't rush into a choice or decision or rush out
I
to,
think the snow leopard makes me think of, I don't know if it's true, but ancient wisdom. And I feel like we are
yeah,
gathering a lot of this ancient wisdom from those that were
nice
here
one. Yeah, I like
before.
that.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, yes. And I think of like the snow, and I feel a chill now.
yeah,
So I think of the snow, the mountains,
yeah,
the I don't know, like if you get that kind of sky, but like the winter sky is different because it's
it is.
almost like
Yeah,
this blue black kind of
yeah,
color. So I
yeah,
think of that. Well, it's like in that Eight of Cups card, the first one you
yeah.
showed, that kind of sky color.
This one?
Yeah, with the blue, or yeah, the blue black,
Yeah, this
contrast
one's
too
got
on the
blue black
mountains.
too. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's almost like, okay, some things we just need to do, um, I guess, I don't know how you would say it, but like, yeah, like being maybe
reserved, I
contemplative.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
reserved.
I think
Yeah,
reserved. Yeah,
yeah.
reserve.
Like, yeah, maybe, and watch and learn,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
um, pounce softly or carefully, or yeah, like, yeah,
Instinct. Yeah,
instinct. Yeah, using your instincts. Yeah, that's
yeah,
another good thing. And I think that, yeah, when I looked up the snow leopard, they said like it's a very strongly connected to intuition. And so the ancient wisdom would definitely tie into that.
yeah. Feel
Um,
that.
mountains, it could be a metaphor, like, we've been climbing mountains, or you're almost there, like,
Yeah,
especially if you've been working hard on
yeah.
something personally. Yeah.
Focus, right.
Mhm.
I feel like they're very focused on the target,
Yeah,
leopards.
yeah, they are, because they're a
And
hunter.
nothing will distract them, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Stay focused on the
yeah,
prize.
yeah.
Maybe
And
there's
I
a
want to,
lesson there.
yeah, and I would say I think they're probably like a brave or courageous species, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and maybe
yeah,
that they're there to help us, give us courage, or be brave too, right?
yeah,
Face our fears. Because like if they're in the darkness, or in the, that's, connected to our fears, what we can't see or don't always
yeah,
know. And that's where the instincts come in, because it's like you have to trust and rely on your intuition, even though you don't see the whole thing. It's like, just
yeah.
believe in that, and be courageous, right? Okay.
I think that's what we're having
Yeah.
to accept is we used to have this vision of where we were going. If we focused on this, if we went to school, if we
Yeah.
started as an intern and you work your way, and you had this vision, you had this future. And now it's so unknown. It's so scary because you hear
Yeah.
that people are investing in this school and that no jobs available or whatever it was that you thought we all had this kind of vision of ourselves
Yeah.
in the future, and that's been kind of taken from us because so unknown right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So stay focused on your end game, on your well-being, and what's
Yeah,
what's going to help
exactly.
there. Yeah.
Wise words, Julie.
Thank you.
Well, I can feel your waning, like, because you've gotten quiet.
I
So I
have.
think, yeah,
See,
like,
the
so,
energy's
I,
gone.
yeah, I just feel like, okay, I think that we're coming to a close
Yeah, I can
with
feel that. I
the
feel that energy
forecast.
drain for some reason. I
Yeah,
don't know why.
yeah. So that's
So,
okay, because we you shared a lot. You shared a lot.
well, so did
Shared
you.
a
You did
lot.
very good with these
I think.
energies. They're not
Thank
easy
you.
energies.
No, it's not.
Yes,
It's not. So yeah, it's
very
not
good.
an easy month, everyone. So really, a lot of good self-care is important.
Yeah,
And I mean, that's open to interpretation, because that gets a lot of arguments, is like, what's self-care? And it's
yeah.
not always about shopping therapy. It could just be, sometimes it's like, I need a pajama day. I'm
That's
just
my
going to
self
veg in
care.
front of the
Yeah,
TV, or yeah, or I'm going to eat chocolate. Like, that could be self-care in a
yeah.
way, right? Because
It
it's,
is for
I don't know,
me. Yeah.
sometimes we need those. Sometimes we do,
Yeah.
right? Hmm.
Shopping rarely makes me feel better because now I've spent money and I'm
Oh,
broke
yeah.
and right. So it's not good for me. That's not self-care for me, but eating chocolate in my pajamas, now that's some good self-care right there for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And me, it's like, I want to say, spending time with my friends.
Yeah.
That's self-care. That's how I like my self-care because they uplift me and they let me.
Be you.
Yeah, yeah. And I can
Right?
cry to you like I can cry to Julie, and Julie will just
Always.
cheer me up.
Always. I've cried to
For
you so many
Yeah,
times.
yeah. So
We all need a Tina in our lives.
we all need a Julie.
So we'll be
So
that
here,
for everyone here. Yes, I am
yeah,
here for all of you. Cry to
yeah.
me. We'll get through this and we'll be better for it.
We will. Well, we're we're complete, I guess, eh? So I
I
hope
think so.
everyone has a really divine month ahead, and stay safe, be well, um, take care, yeah, of
Yes. Thank
yourself.
you for
Yeah,
being here too.
yeah,
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much for being here and
yeah,
listening
everyone.
to us. Yes.
Yeah, so those that were here and then those who listen to it afterwards, thank you again. We
Yeah.
appreciate all of your support. If anyone wants to book a reading, we're available for private sessions. I should post.
Yeah.
There we go. I'll show that one because then it won't be scrolling across. So Julie, we like to be contacted via email is the
Yeah.
best way. So there's Julie's email, and then there's my email. If you miss it, just send us a message on the Facebook page, and we'll be happy to share it with you. Um,
Yes.
you know what I want to do because we haven't done it. We only did it once.
Yeah.
Rosie, your daughter Rosie,
Yes.
makes homemade
So,
organic products and soaps
yes.
mostly, right?
Soaps, lotions, lotion bars.
Eh,
She had some all kinds of variety stuff.
yeah, so I'm putting that up. There
Thank
is
you.
the website. So,
Yeah,
and
check
it's
it
like,
out.
yeah, so if you are wanting to buy a gift for yourself, this is nice self-care gift.
Yes, it is actually. And on Amazon. She's on Amazon too.
Oh, is
So
she? Oh, wonderful.
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So, I'll have to add that then. So, yeah, so whether it's for yourself or for another one, go check out this website. There's beautiful, beautiful products, lovingly made, well crafted.
Yes. She puts a lot into these. She really does.
Mhm.
She's had sensitive skin her whole life, so she really puts a lot of thought, and she tries every single one to make sure it's good for her. If it's good for her,
Yeah,
it's going to be good for
yeah. I
for
can
others.
smell it
So,
from here.
oh,
And
they smell fantastic.
yeah,
Absolutely. I've got them all behind me. I need to bring them up to the
that's what,
camera and show.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So we'll do that. Yeah, we should talk about it and
we
show it
should.
on one of our shows, right? Yeah,
Let's
that's what
do
we'll
that.
do. Okay,
Yes.
there's the
Yes.
topic. All right. Okay, everyone. So we will be back next Monday. We haven't decided the topic, but I have a feeling it might be the reading show, maybe.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah,
I think
I
everyone
think
wants to
so.
see what's ahead
It'll
for
be
them.
mid-month.
So,
Yeah, it'll be
yeah.
mid-month, so it might be a good time to do that. So, alrighty. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Love and
Yes.
light. Take care. Bye.
Love and light. Bye.